Hey, Facebook world. I have Bailey King here, and we are going to, oh, you know what? I should be, sharing the screen. Okay, yeah. Let's say hi, Bailey.
Hello.
So we did a contest in one of our groups, said who wants some social media coaching, but you have to be on live, and Bailey won, and I didn't even rig it, and I'm super excited that you're here today. So what we're going to do, make sure you guys say hi and let Bailey know how much you appreciate her totally sweating on. It's okay. I am sweating more than you are for sure because presidential diamonds are terrifying to me.
I'm not sweating. I'm not the one with ideas. I just get to say, sure, I'll do it.
Okay, sounds good. So what we're doing here is we are going to look at Bailey's customer group. It has almost 5,000 members in it, and I'm going to give you some tips to increase just your overall results. So before we get in and I screen share the group for everyone, we just want to calibrate on a few things. So a lot of people, they start a group and they're like, I should have a group for customers in my team. And that's the extent of the planning that's done. So do you have any purposes with this group? Any goals?
I kind of fell in that range. So really it started as like, I can't keep answering the same questions every day. So that's how the group started. So I could answer questions and people could find answers in there. And then it kind of became a little bit, but not much more thought out, where I'll do, certain weekly themes, let's do all women's health this week and educate on it. But really it's just a place for me to support customers with the hopes of increasing retention as they learn and use more.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So when we think about customer retention, the one thing that I want to make sure that we remember is that customers, if they don't put their second order or their third order in, it's going to be really, really hard to retain. So what I've noticed, and I have other people that I've been in their groups where they're just like this. They're huge groups, and then you have a bunch of people asking like really detailed questions. And what I want you to think about is if our goal is customer retention, especially in the first 90 days, then we want the group and the content to reflect what's happening for a customer in the first 90 days. So what do you think are the problems that people have in the first 90 days of using essential oils?
I'm taking like their own problems or problems with like learning?
Both.
So I think it's the overwhelm is the big one, right? They get their kit and they're not sure where to start, what to use, and then it sits on the counter.
Yep.
We deal with a lot of just general overall health, energy, anxiety, fatigue, sleep, those main stress.
Energy, anxiety, fatigue.
Sleep, stress, digestion, those are kind of the top ones.
Okay, cool.
And then if they don't get a personalized membership overview, then there's a bajillion questions on how does this loyalty system work? If they're enrolled by a builder who gives them that, then they understand it. So it's either kind of all or nothing on that spectrum.
Okay. So I wrote down in the first 90 days, overwhelm. They're not sure where to start. The biggest problems they have, the reason they bought their kit or signed up is energy, anxiety, fatigue, stress, and I can't even say that word without saying digestion anymore.
Hey, that's good. That means you're converted.
I'm converted. My kids homeschool. It's just all a disaster.
Welcome to the world.
And how does this loyalty system work? So I think we want to address those issues first off. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to say, and all of these, I'll just wait for you to cuss me out after the call. We have that relationship, is the first thing is I would change the name of your group. So when I just go and search the Oil Kings, it's not clear to me that that's what this group is for. So what I would recommend is to shift the group name to, because as a presidential diamond, you're allowed to use the word doTERRA in your social media, or no? What's the rule there? Don't know?
Don't know. Okay. But I will say the group is secret, so we don't really have people searching for it. We only add them in personally when they get their membership. So I don't know if that affects.
Okay, that's even better. Or they could have to be added by someone in the group.
Yes. And then then we approve them based on if they have a membership with us.
Okay, awesome. So in that case, for sure, I would recommend to change the name to something like the Oil Kings doTERRA Tips, like doTERRA Essential Oil Tips.
Okay.
And the reason for that is even when you went to go add me to the group and I searched the Oil Kings, there were so many results that I didn't know which one was for even the group that we were going to go over today.
Okay.
And when I think about it being like, now it shows up in my news feed, right? Like, I don't know that this is, okay, here is doTERRA Essential Oil Tips. So I would make sure that the name reflects who this group is for. I have a friend who actually puts the word members only in the group. So it could be, the Oil Kings, doTERRA Tips, members only.
Okay, I like that.
And then that way when it shows up in my news feed, then I'm in good shape. As far as I don't know where to start. So we want to remember that people use Facebook from that. It totally worked. I put doTERRA Presidential Diamond Bailey King and there's 17 live viewers. Totally. Most people are operating in their newsfeed, right? So as much as we would love to think that a brand new user, okay, so this is my situation.
I'll go to my units and read my frequently asked questions and not post all the crazy questions. That's not working.
At first I haven't even opened my box. So the likelihood that I'm going to go into your group that doesn't say doTERRA Essential Oils and then go into the units is probably not super likely. So we can actually make some adjustments to the way you post in order to serve this audience. So it's just really important that we know who the audience is. Right now your group is set up where it's being used by all the advanced users, which is really great, but only going to cause more overwhelm. So there's a few different kinds of posts. I know that your attention is going to be on a different social media platform, which I'm super excited about. And so I'm going to learn tomorrow how to set up a Facebook page from scratch before our call Wednesday. But you wrote down, or you told me energy, anxiety, fatigue, stress, and
digestion.
Okay. I would recommend doing an engagement post once a week that says, what are the easiest, simplest tips you have for someone starting to want to increase their energy? Because you have a very active group. And if you just schedule out one for energy, one for anxiety, one for fatigue, one for stress, one for digestion, right? That's 6 weeks. And then because we're going to be constantly bringing in new users and we're talking about what's going to be in the news feed, you could just rotate through that I would just create, for this particular group, it's so big and you're talking about, we're trying to hit the first 90 days. I would probably recycle through the same 2 months of content over and over and over and let the community do anything that's different. I don't think you need to create new content every week for the rest of your life, because if you focus on the top 5 to 7 problems that people have, they'll open their kit, their retention will increase from there.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I guess my only issue is it boring then for the 5,000 customers who aren't new that become less engaged in the group because it's the same things we've already been talking about, or is that not really?
I think that they are going to be so we think about people want to be cool and smart on social media.
And they can answer the question.
So it's not going to be boring at all.
Okay.
Right? So if you were to say, here's how to blah, 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 that might be boring. If it was just the Bailey show, then I think that could be right. But if you shift it to a question of what's the best tip you have for someone new on how to handle energy, your most engaged people are going to hop in there. But remember, they're not the ones we're trying to retain. Right? So when we have any sort of strategic initiative for our business, we want to tie it back to a goal. So if you have customer retention of, I'm just making up numbers, 50%, you're trying to get to 52%, we want to use the things we have available to us to increase retention. So we have to start by saying, well, why are people not retaining? And so those people, when we speak to this type of audience in our group, we're not going to increase retention because they're already retained. So we're, in essence, you're preaching to the choir in your group.
I'm spending a lot of time doing it.
Right. And I think those are your most avid people. We want to turn them into super fans and sharers. And so I have a couple of ideas on how to do that
Okay.
instead. But I would really recommend to boost retention, because what we want is for people on your team to invite, right, to have people come in, and we want them to enroll their friends and family, because your team, right, is big enough where we need to have duplication on all these other levels. And so one of the reasons they're not going to enroll is because they don't have a place to put them to educate them. And so this can solve that problem if we create the content around that. The other piece of it is I would do a demo, and this is where I think your older daughter, she's 8, she could do the demos and call it, right? So if we're thinking about entry-level demos, how to wash strawberries with lemon essential oil, right? We talked about that. I don't think that would be too difficult for her to do. And we always talk about if a 4th grader can do it, then it's probably language we want to use. And so one of the challenges you're going to have as such an advanced oil user is you're not going to be able to talk to the people that need to be retained. And so by utilizing Kinley's expertise as a 4th grader, it assures that you have the proper messaging. And I mean, she could literally be like, here's how to use peppermint to increase your energy.
Yeah, totally. She'd love it. Yeah.
She would love it. And you need to put her on payroll anyway. And so if she did one of those a week, right? So maybe on Wednesday, the question becomes, what are your best tips? And then have her come in with a really simple, little Facebook Live video there. If you want to, you could utilize your Oil Kings main Facebook page for that video and share it into the group, which then makes it shareable for your people in the group, right? So you have a scenario in which you have a video that says, here's how to wash strawberries with lemon essential oil. That's Heather's. I can't take credit for that idea. That's my coach's idea. But we put it on a public page and we put it into this group. Well, that means that if I'm in there and I'm like, oh, I was just talking to my friend about that, now I can share it.
Yeah, because people are always commenting like, can I share this video? And I'm like, nope, it's in a private group. So that's helpful. Yeah.
So since you have that Oil Kings page that is really written and set up, that public page for a doTERRA audience, then let's use it for the doTERRA audience, right? We'll create a separate one for prospects, which will be a little bit different. So that's, again, not any, like, you could just sit down, schedule all 8 weeks of posts, right? Sit down with your daughter for 1 hour, schedule that stuff out, and I'm sure she would kill it.
Okay.
Have you ever welcomed new users?
Yeah, there's there's a pinned announcement post that welcomes them, and then the people that add them are supposed to tag them in there.
Okay, cool. So I want to pose this to you. So here's your group, right? I have admin here. And so we have 5 new members this week. And so what can we do to create a sharing culture? Whatever we recognize, we replicate in anything, right? And so I won't hit post unless you want me to. But we have, let's welcome our new members. And we do a real quick, tell me where you are from and who invited you to this group. Welcome to our new members. We are so glad you are here.
Do you point them to that announcement post to get started so they know what they're doing, or no?
I think you can, right? Their people can tag them, but this is a little bit of a different purpose.
Okay.
So the purpose is once someone starts commenting right away, they're more likely to continue to comment over time. And so by doing a really simple welcome post, right, again, Kinley job, what we do 2 things, right? We say, where are you from? Everyone loves to talk about where they're from and who invited you to this group. Well, now what we're doing is we're actually recognizing builders, right? So if it's like, oh, I'm Madison, I'm from so-and-so, or I'm Tasha, I'm from Southern California, and Bailey added me to this group. Well, just who got a shout out? Bailey. So now Bailey is more motivated through recognition to enroll people and add them to this group because she's going to get a shout out every single time she does it.
Yeah, I like that. Okay.
And so it all comes down to what are the metrics, right? So yes, we can do that, but we also want to remember that most people are not going to go and read all the units as much as we would like them to.
Dang it.
I know. And I do love that you have an onboarding thing and all of that. I think this is worth testing. I would probably test it once with and once without. The problem with links is that it suppresses reach a little bit. So the other thing that Kinley could do is just copy these here. You want me to post it or not post it? I don't know.
I don't think people will know who you are, so let me do it. Or you could just be my assistant and get in and do it. All this stuff for me like every week.
That's a really highly paid assistant. So I come over here to the units. Leave this page, right? And I can come in here. And now I can actually, because I copied and pasted it, I do it all in one swoop, right? I can tag these people and then just say, welcome to the group. This is where you will go. And that way people are involved.
Okay. I like that. It's easy.
Yep. And then the third tip that I have for you, or maybe that's the fourth, I guess, is, I don't know how many tips I gave you. Hopefully you're even, oh my gosh, my live video ended. Why? Facebook's been doing that. Isn't that horrible? Okay,
really?
well, I'll post the full video because I'm recording it on Zoom. Okay, so the next tip that I will give you is around like, how does this loyalty system work? And then business opportunity conversations. And so what I would recommend is every other week doing a call to action post where it's, maybe you could do 3 of these, but even just to start, say, hey, if you're wondering how this loyalty system works, I'm going to do a webinar on such and such date. Comment below for the login info, and then you'll get tons of engagement and social proof. Send them the link, obviously, to register for that. And I would do another one for, hey, you might be in this group and be wondering if there is an opportunity to make a little bit of money with doTERRA.
Yeah, I've been struggling with that piece of how to transition these people into a webinar that, has interest in the business. So yeah.
I would just go with a comment below, but if you add in the recognition piece of people, right? Like here are like you're recognizing shares, and then you walk through, and in that business overview, which you can stream in live as well, you could just make it really, really simple, right? They're live on there, so you have some more social proof, but you can make it really, really simple to just say, here's how people make money, right? And make sure like that we have a spectrum, so that there's people who are casual and they just enroll their mom and their grandma and whatever. And then we have other people who do this more seriously. Here's the way it looks for people that just want to enroll a few people, right? I have a little bit of cheat sheet for you. And also when they enroll, you can just add them here. But if you want to really run a profitable business and replace your income, there's a little bit of a different model. It's totally up to you, right? And we use that kind of language in that.
Presenting that in the webinar that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that way they have a path on, okay, what am I going to say, right? We have a cheat sheet for you. And I would just put in like the vendor training sells, like how to sell a kit at a vendor event, like that simple.
Okay.
And how to invite to a webinar. And then one webinar you do a month. Right? And then that way you have mechanisms for people to start enrolling and sharing and building that downline out so that you can increase your overall unilevel and compensation around that.
Okay.
What do you think?
Would you offer like a monthly online class for them to invite their people to, or is it better to give them the cheat sheet for them? Obviously you can do both, but for them to try and do it on their own.
I would do both.
Okay.
Because of what happens with casual network marketers, the way life works, right? The way life works is I'm on the couch having dinner with my friend and she says, what's that smell? And then I'm there. I'm not going to be able to have the discipline to say, stop. I'm not going to say one word to you. I'm going to invite you to a webinar in 3 weeks, right? The reality of the situation is that's the moment of truth for the sharer. And so to be able to at least have something they've read through to where they can at least say 2 or 3 of the lines and to say, I can register you, or this is a different way I can register, you know, this is how we can get you all set up. If you want to do it, just let me know either way, right? Like just that really simple language, I think would be really helpful. But we do that in the space of a webinar. So if you start hammering your group with here's how to enroll people, here's how to enroll people, then I know that you know that that doesn't feel right.
Right, it's a turn off for sure, yeah.
I'm going to do a webinar because I've gotten a lot of questions of if I want to enroll my sister or my aunt or whoever, how do I do that? Comment below for the information on how to get into that webinar. Now you'll have all that social proof. They're like, wait, everyone wants to enroll their people. I better get in on this.
Okay.
And then in that webinar, you can make it really, really simple on if you want to enroll your friends and family because we're trying to help people with their health, here's the easiest way to go about it, and then you can add them to the group. If you want to be more serious and replace income, make $1,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000, maybe we'll have a separate one-on-one conversation or a separate webinar for that in more detail. And then you could do one in the month with, are you wondering how to get 30% free product, right, points? You know, comment below, we'll invite you to the webinar. And these are like the sending of the links and stuff, that's something that your assistant can do or your 8-year-old can do. And some of us, you know, we elicit the help of our husbands to send links like that.
Yeah.
So those are my tips. How painful was it?
Not bad. Easy. I'm about to like put this stuff in my calendar and make it happen.
Yeah, cool. So what do you think, what were your takeaways? Like what stood out to you? Just as a recap for the people watching.
I've got to come up with a system to promote sharing. We are missing that piece hugely, and it could be literally like the majority of our growth in our team, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think 6 months from now, it's a $10,000 a month pay increase.
Matt King, did you hear that? Numbers. Yeah, so that's a big one. And then probably just the realization that the onboarding systems in place probably aren't being used. So what's a more simple way to educate people off of that?
Yeah.
Or not very simple, because what I have is simple, more effective.
Well, it's just understanding how people use Facebook. They use it for the newsfeed. They just scroll mindlessly, and so you just have to hit them in their newsfeed with, here's how to use this thing. And I know I have a client, and I'm in one of their groups, and somebody was just like, blah, 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 I had this person use the mouthwash and got this result. And I was like, my gums bleed. I'll use my mouthwash that I already have that's in my cupboard that I never use because it burns my mouth. But I guess it's worth it now.
Don't be a weenie. Come on.
Thanks.
Yeah, so that's good. I can do that. It's easy. I'm not overwhelmed by this. Thank you, Tasha.
You are welcome.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to end the recording. Thank you. Say bye to everyone.